So we have S.G. Lewis's Times, lowercase times. 10 songs, 40 minutes long.
Yes. Really like this album a
Good.
lot.
Good.
The first track is interesting because throughout the album there's a lot of features and stuff. It's very disco, groovy, dance, fun, just moving around.
Yeah. It's a random access memories-esque callback to the era.
That's what I was gonna say. It's that I felt a lot like Ram. And then it also had some of like indie electronica dance-ish, whatever genre that is, because there's like Neil Francis has some tracks like that and a few others that I genuinely like listening to. But the first track is featuring Rai, which we reviewed Rai's album 2 weeks ago, I like to say.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. So when I heard that voice, I'm like, that's Rai for sure. And I was like, yep. And I really, really like his voice in this track because it's like a perfect thing on it. Because my one problem with Rai's album was that it could feel a little stagnant with it, but in a dance groovy track, fantastic. Great opening track. And just gets you into the feeling and the groove on it. And I definitely added this track to our playlist under that for sure.
Yeah, it's very good. There are definitely a lot of additions I had to this playlist. Continuing on with like the really nicely picked features.
Yes.
You have Feed the Fire with Lucky Day, really bringing the funk aspect to things here. Then it's really nice.
After that, you have Back to Earth, which is just just S.G. Lewis. And it's a really good track just to see what he could do by himself on it. And this is the one that really made me feel like Daft Punk inspired for sure, because it sounded like almost, if you know Daft Punk's discography, if you know Musique Volume 1, because French, there's a track called, there's a couple tracks that sound like this, but then he made
especially the bass line.
Exactly, the bass line sounds almost exactly like Musique. And it's that, but then like sped up a little bit and then done over a disco track kind of, and it's actually really nice.
This is my favorite song on the album. Actually, is Back to Earth.
I can feel that. It's between that and Time, but
especially because the drop, not hyphy-typey, it does almost like a tropical thing with the like the shakers in the background. Yeah. It's really nice. The flute adds a really sort of playful tone to it. Like it's just like what I used to love about festival music back when old festivals were fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, back when I used to go to festivals.
Yeah. We have one more with Nile Rodgers right afterwards, who's also a friend of Daft Punk and Random Access Memories, so that's really good. But also was picked for that album because of his connections to that particular 70s, 80s riff guitar kind of sound.
And you hear that in this track, but it's actually a great track to have after Back to Earth, because then it moves on from that like Ram sound into now making just solid dance music to it. And
modern.
Modern dance music. It is very, very good. It makes me excited for the future of dance music, because we were kind of like last year. I mean, obviously we had Disclosures, right? One album of the year, really liked that, and there was some stuff that was very good, and there's some stuff that was still kind of garbage. So there's that stuff of we're still trying to filter out and get better with our EDM stuff, because we genuinely really like our electronic music. So this is.
As we've said with a couple of albums we reviewed recently in the electronic music scene, they're not coming to mind right now, but more of the ones we've done recently is that more of the electronic music artists that are coming from the 2010s that are really making their like bones about themselves are coming at it from a more orchestral approach, or it's like a callback to older music, but it's like it's a lot more thought out than just like festival crowd pleasers.
Exactly, other than just like drop boom, just that over and over and over again. Now they're actually getting to the substance of making an actual record within that, which is very difficult to do, honestly, for electronic music. Because unless you're a Disclosure and whatnot, you're kind of limited in what you can do. I mean, we had like Kolsch's album last year, which was amazing. Yeah. So you are getting a lot more. We got into that kind of that throwback to tropical house, a little bit better into that, late 2000s, early 2010s era, where it was still kind of underground, at least in the US. And it started to build up from there. Skipping on to a little bit towards the latter half of the album, you have Impact with Robin and Chanel Tres. Oh, such a good track because that combines so many different sounds and makes it modern to where I feel nostalgic, but then it doesn't sound like anything else I've listened to, if that makes sense. It's really hard to explain, but
Yeah.
I really, really like that track too.
You got Channel Trace's like smooth as molasses kind of voice in the
Oh,
background.
yeah. And Robin's vocals are fantastic too.
Yeah, love Robin's vocals. Yeah, I love how new it is. Almost sounds kind of Dead Mousey, actually, in some ways. Slowed down, but you know, it's like a newer kind of spin on it. I love it.
It's good. It's very very impressed with this album.
I will say, Rosner's interlude in Chemicals is like definitely like a high point of the album together because it's like if we're continuing the analogy, this is the Giorgio by Moroder. Because you even have like a similar Rosner's like beginning of, oh, this is music and how we love messing with synthesizers and stuff like that. And then it drops into Chemicals, which is like the perfect mix of callback, funk, disco with new production, sound, sense, shimmer. It's like a really perfect thing. Really beautiful kind of like pop song. Too bad there's like no place to play it outside right now.
I was surprised by this album because I knew of S.G. Lewis's work before. So then I was like, okay, a little bit, but not super familiar with it. So I kind of go into this with a blank slate and I was like, holy crap, this is great. So damn good album. Our arbitrary scale is political vacation destinations because that's the country we live in.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a Napa Valley.
A Napa Valley? That's solid. I was gonna give this like a Vail, Colorado.
Yeah.
Or like Snowmass Village, like wherever you go and ski in Colorado.
Yeah.
Like a solid like.
What about one of those Salt Lake City?
You can go you can go. Yeah, you can go into Utah as well too. You can put that in. Maybe you're trying to get friendly with the Romneys. You never know.
Of course. Yeah. It's always good to get friendly with the Romneys.
Exactly. All right.
Mexican Romneys, if you can do it too. Want to be friendly with them first.